Welcome to our show this week. You're on the Town with Mike Farah. We have a special show. We're coming from a celebrity golf tournament down here at Santa Ana Country Club, and it's for the benefit of the House Ear Institute. Now, several months ago, we did an interview with my friend Gloria Osbrink here, who we talked about this event, and today, instead of a lot of celebrities, we have one special celebrity you're going to see. It's his second appearance on our show, and how I describe him as really America's most loved comedian, America's ambassador to the world, Bob Hope. He's due to arrive here just shortly, but before he does, I had a chance to get Gloria and Dr. Howard House together and really talk about what we're here for, which is really helping the House Institute and the hearing impaired. Gloria, we're going to start with you since you were one of my favorite interviews not too long ago. You put this tournament together. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the tournament?
Well, about 8 years ago, Dr. House came to me and he said, you know, someday I would sure like to have a tournament with my name on it. And I put that little thought in my head, and I started thinking about it, and lo and behold, we had one. But he and I talked about maybe having somebody in the caliber of Bob Hope, and I said, Howard, that's up to you. And he went to Bob, and Bob accepted.
You know, when you say the caliber of Bob Hope, I mean, did you reach for the top? I mean,
right to the top.
Where were you
I only go to the top.
You know, Howard, it makes it sound like it was Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is what Dr. Howard House want, and this wish came true for you.
Well, that's right, and Gloria worked very closely with Athlete Clark in setting that up. And if it weren't for those two ladies, we wouldn't have what we have today at all.
Right.
And it's been a great help to the Institute financially, and also done a great job in many other ways for the Institute. She's been able to put together a wonderful group of ladies. They work so hard to put on these various events, and especially this golf course.
Right.
It doesn't come easy. And I've been so privileged to be at those meetings and see all the details of putting on a tournament. And those girls are all volunteering here and doing a great job, and only with her leadership, which is great.
You know, one of your dreams, and when we visited, and we might take you back part of that interview in a little while, but one of your dreams that everyone seemed to know the House Institute up in Los Angeles, but was bringing a clinic down here to Orange County. Now tell me, what has happened there?
Well, we opened our clinic about a month ago, and it's near the Anaheim Stadium, and it's the House Ear Institute, no, House Ear Clinic.
Right.
And we're very proud. We have one day a week a doctor working in the clinic, and hopefully we'll have somebody there every day.
Well, Doc, these ladies have made some of your dreams come true.
Oh, they certainly have, no question about that. And we're looking forward to having the clinic down here because we have so many patients from Orange County. So it'll be very nice to have a little clinic here where they can go and save them the trip to Los Angeles, which is getting tougher and tougher.
Well, we're going to come right back to the two of them, but I have a little surprise for you. Last Friday night, we're here on a Monday, but last Friday night we were at Norm Crosby's 70th birthday party. And Norm is you're very dear to his heart, and both of you are. And we asked Norm about his involvement with the House Ear Institute and with this tournament, because he's come several times. And you know, Norm was the original chairman of the Hearing Impaired, the first nationwide organization, and he brought an awful lot of identity, and he brought to that particular cause. He was the first chairman. So let's take a look at what Norm had to say, and we'll come right back and kind of get your comments. I'm here with really, I think, one of the more charitable comedians and performers in the movie industry, Mr. Norm Crosby. And we're at a private party in Beverly Hills tonight, and I've taken Norm aside because I really wanted to talk to him about a charity that's very near and dear to his heart and has been near and dear to some of our friends that have appeared on the show. About a month ago, we had Gloria Osbrink and Dr. House from the Ear Institute on with Bob Hope. And there's going to be a golf tournament in September down at Santa Ana Country Club. I believe it's around September 14th, 15th, in that area there.
Yes, it is something like that.
Yeah. And if you watch the credits at the end of the show, get our number and call us, and we'll make sure you'll get information on it. But Norm, that House Institute has been a charity that you have dedicated a lot of time to. And I'd like you to tell our audience about it.
Well, I've been privileged to become friends with the House family. I know Dr. House, his brother. They are just a most incredible institute. I remember when they were across the street. I remember how, watching them grow and to become the magnificent facility that it is today. But Dr. House has established something that it's world famous. I mean, people come from all over the world to observe, to learn. They've developed practices. They've developed methods that are just so exciting and innovating to the hearing community. I wear 2 hearing aids. I don't wear them all the time, just when I want to hear. But I got mine is from a service-connected disability. I was in the Coast Guard. We used to throw the ash cans over the fantail of the ship, and the concussion gave me some hearing problems. I've watched the growth. I've become, I guess, a spokesman for the entire hearing community because I was the first one to go on live television, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Johnny Carson, Dinah Shore, and talk about hearing and have fun with it. Not make fun of it, but have fun with it. I used to do a thing with Johnny Carson. He'd say, "How's your hearing?" I'd say, "Great, I have a new hearing aid. And it has bihedral decibels and thermal amputas, and you don't have to yell at me anymore." And he'd say, "Gee, that's great. What kind is it?" I'd say, "It's a 7/4." But we did things like that and had fun.
Well,
but the reaction, I must tell you, the reaction to it was unbelievable. And we would get thousands, literally thousands of letters from people saying, "My kids wouldn't go to the doctor, my wife, my husband, my mother." And after they saw you, they decided they would get help.
Right.
Because what we were preaching, I became the first spokesman for the Better Hearing Institute in Washington. What we're preaching is that there is no necessity anymore for anybody to suffer a handicap of hearing loss. There is help.
Yes.
Either surgically or through amplification, but you can be helped. And once people are aware of that, then they go out and they get help. For some reason, I don't know why, but hearing impaired people have a tendency to cover up their handicap. Anybody that needs glasses will go out immediately and buy a pair of glasses.
Right.
And people that have a hearing problem, and it's a general tendency everywhere, they pretend they don't. It's your fault. You don't talk loud. The TV is not working right. The radio's not working right. But that's what we try to overcome. And the House Institute, of course, is number one in leading, the entire industry in developing new practices physically and through their hearing aids. They have extreme testing capabilities there. They have all the equipment.
Well, Doc, how's that for an endorsement?
I think it's absolutely great. I tell you, Norm, I hope you have many, many more wonderful birthdays, too. You're a great guy, and I love you.
That's many more 70th birthdays. Now, you guys go back a long way.
Well, there's no question about that. I've outlived him quite a bit. He's just a young man as far as I'm concerned.
Now, where did you meet him first time?
He came in as a patient a number of years ago. Got very interested in what we're doing in the way of research and so on. And as a result, has been a great sponsor for all of our programs. And he's always available unless he's on a cruise ship or someplace else.
Right.
But he's just so good when he's here, and everybody just loves that fellow all over the country.
Right. He was your first national chairman, wasn't he?
For the, yes, that's for Hard of Hearing Month, they call it.
Right.
And he was in Washington. And he was the very first one.
You know, if you're going to pick an ambassador who would represent this particular charity, he'd be the great person for it, because he's really made a living of twisting his stories around, twisting his words.
Great.
His almost comic routine is all about he doesn't understand what you're saying to begin with.
That's right. Who was the fellow that played many years ago that talked fast and language too that you couldn't understand? Tall fella.
That probably was before our time.
I'm sorry. But
do we have to remember back that far?
He couldn't match Norm, however. No one could match him.
Spoonerizes like he does.
Right. You know, I've really got to learn an awful lot about the hearing impaired, and I want to take you back to, a couple of months ago when I first met this young lady, and I did an interview with her out in a beautiful set of gardens where we really got to talk to her about how she really got involved. And I'm going to take you back to that moment in time when I first met Gloria, and I want you to see what that was about.
I'm here with Gloria Osbrink, and she was voted by her peers to be one of the most charitable women in Orange County.
You've worked with a lot of charities, but specifically I want to ask you about the House Ear Institute. That's where you, I don't want to say most noted, but the charity we're going to focus with you today. That charity probably is most noted for now, for its golf tournament. You have a very special person that comes every year.
That's right.
Bob
Hope.
Someone we've known a long time together.
A long time, along with Phyllis Diller.
Right.
Norm Crosby.
Norm Crosby's going to come this year. By the way, next week, the show next week is going to feature Bob and Dolores Hope and Julie and David Eisenhower. So maybe it's best that we end with you in this show, and then, which is a good segue to watch us next week to see Bob and Dolores Hope.
Very good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good side. Now, for you, you got involved with the Ear Institute because of a grandson.
Right.
And looking for help and realizing that grandson lost his hearing at 3 years old?
Right. Spinal meningitis.
Spinal meningitis. Tell me about that grandson today.
Today he's 19 years old. He goes to Gallaudet University at Washington, D.C. He had the cochlear implant by Dr. Bill House and Dr. Howard House.
Right.
So he has some hearing if he wears the implant.
I see.
He is the star pitcher for Gallaudet, and schools are looking at him to become their pitcher.
Imagine if he didn't have a grandmother who wanted to get involved.
Well,
Would he have ever had that implant?
yes, he would have had the implant.
Yeah.
He had it before I took the position of this. Yeah, my son called me. I was working for my husband in his dental office, and he called me. He says, "We've got to get Rory in to see somebody at the House Ear Institute." Well, that was a blank to me. I didn't know what that was.
Right.
But it did ring a little bit of a register in my head, and a good friend of mine sat on the executive board. So I said, "Bob, let me call Lynn Hirsch," and I did. And she says, "Get off the phone. I'll get him in tomorrow morning." And we did. We got an appointment, got him in, and had we waited, Dr. Howard House tells us that it would have been too late, and we couldn't have done the cochlear implant.
So maybe Grandma did come through, huh?
Yeah, Grandma came through. Bottom line of it.
And the bottom line is that really with all the people and all the events that you stage over the years, and we can talk about that, but the reality is that, let's talk about you a little bit more. It changed your life tremendously, didn't it?
Tremendously. 10 years promoting and letting the people of Orange County know who the House Ear Institute was, because I was taken off guard. I didn't know. And now everybody knows who House Ear Institute is.
That's right. And I think even one of the great byproducts of that, which is really a direct reason to be involved, is people now who have hearing problems and don't know where to turn, but they know what House Institute is.
Exactly.
Know how to get help.
Exactly. And we have now opened our Orange County Clinic, which has been a dream of mine.
And where's it located at?
It'll be at the Anaheim Stadium at 500 State College. And we'll be seeing patients probably towards the end of June.
Now that very famous golf tournament you have is coming up too, isn't it?
Yes, it is, at the Santa Ana Country Club.
September 15th.
15th,
If people want to be involved or buy tickets to be observers, where would they call?
They would call me at my home.
You want to give them a number out?
643-9260.
How many charities do you know where the person who's the chairman of it gives you their house phone number just to get them done for this House Institute? I mean,
that's what it's all about.
It's a labor of love, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Well, if there's one thing I learned about Gloria, we have the same taste in television. Touched by an Angel?
Touched by an Angel. I love it. Did you see them on television? Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad, was it?
Wonderful.
Last night we did the post party at the Emmys, and they were on the Emmy show. And, that particular show, as we've said before, really touches the hearts of a lot of people. And it touches the hearts of a lot of people who are involved with charity because they understand what giving is. And you've given an awful lot, starting with when you got involved with your grandson.
Right.
And on that interview we saw he's now pitching at a college.
Gallaudet University.
You got it. And how